Hello, everyone. Welcome to Organization Planning Leadership. We wanted to record a version of this for anyone who's missed the workshop that we hosted last Friday. We're going to go through it as if it were a brief overview of what we did in the workshop. So whenever you are going through any of the material or the exercises that we have planned, you can pause the video whenever you feel free. And we do have some questions as well to prompt in terms of reflection.
Hello, everyone. My name is Reese Jr. I'm an intern working with the Center for Leadership in the Organization Development Department, and I'm happy to be here to provide this recording and to help you guide you throughout the semester and even next year for any consultant or leadership services.
And my name is Alonzo Cee. I serve as the Graduate Apprentice in the Center for Leadership. This is actually me finishing off my 2 years working in the Center for Leadership. But I am here as a support system for this workshop. And if anyone has any questions, just direct them to us afterwards. So a little bit of an overview. We have some reflective questions and some objectives that we hope to impart on you, as well as go through a SWOT analysis, a little bit of fall calendar planning, SMART goals, transition overview and planning, as well as thinking about a contingency plan. During this pandemic, during COVID-19, we have to think about what does Plan B look like.
Now, either by yourself or you can do it with your family or friends or whoever you're quarantined with, I would like for you to kind of reflect on what you're grateful for and why, especially during this time where we have a lot going on and it's not as positive, but I like to think we can always find a positive and a negative. So this could be a great time for you to reflect on what you appreciate in life and what are the positives that you have gotten out of this whole entire quarantine situation. And also think about how have you been supported or have you been supporting others, especially within your own organization. It's very important to make sure that all your members is being taken care of and that you're checking in on them, and also that you are being taken care of mentally and physically.
Thank you.
And what do you hope to accomplish throughout all this? It's important for us to continue to set goals throughout this quarantine, even though we might be held up inside. We can still find ways to be productive and to stay positive and to find ways to get things done, whether it be virtually or physically.
So it also goes through some of the objectives. We want you to be able to identify internal and external influences for your organizations, thinking about selecting dates for programs and collaborations for the fall, be able to identify and clarify goals for the future, reflect on transition plans and strategies, and then also be able to generate ideas for a contingency plan. So when thinking about SWOT analysis, for those of you who don't know what it stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And it helps you to understand the internal and external influences that may impact ourselves and our organization. So when you're thinking about strengths, thinking about, what are the attributes of your organization that, help you succeed in what you do, in your purpose, in your mission. And when you're thinking about the weaknesses, thinking about, those things that may be a deterrence from folks joining your organization that is within, thinking about, what may be halting you from success in the future, thinking about what is absolutely internal, thinking about all the internal, thinking about the strengths and the weaknesses. And then when you're thinking about it externally, what are those opportunities that exist outside of your organization, opportunities to collaborate with other organizations, different policies that exist that may actually help your organization thrive, thinking about where those exist, and also thinking about the threats, what are those organizations that host similar similar events that may, conflict with members wanting to join either your organization or theirs, or thinking even about policies that may be harmful to your organization. So we wanted to give you some time to sort of think about, the different influences of your organization, thinking about the internal and also thinking about the external, thinking about what is helpful and thinking about what it may be hurting your organization or what may be harmful. So we wanted to give you some time to list and really think about those. And then also, once you're done making those lists, what have you learned from that process? And how is this information, going to be useful for you in the planning process? How is thinking about the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats actually going to help you in planning for the future?
Very nice. Now, along with this presentation, we should send a link with the CFO packet that has a fall calendar that allows you to plan out your events for your organization throughout the fall. And also we've put several events on there so you can plan around it. So whenever you're making any type of calendar planning event, it's very important to take into account what Elon is doing around with other organizations so you can plan around it, because you want to work smarter and not harder, especially when you're trying to plan something long term. So there are many very different things that you could plan along with your organization as well. And that can also include collaborations with other organizations or with the school itself. So please be in mind and look out for tons of options. And if you need help with funding and whatnot, the student government is a very great resource that allows you to get funding. 9 times out of 10, they're going to grant your request to whatever you're trying to do, whether it be retreat, whether it be going out to a city, Burlington, Raleigh, or Durham, or some in-house in Elon. It's always best to ask and to reach out so that you can make sure that you're getting your events done and that financial resources is not an issue whatsoever. Now, as far as attending and planning, I think it's very important that you should go out and visit other people's organizations planning events as well, so you can build networking events. And so you get those individuals to come out to your organization events. So it also helps breed more collaboration between different organizations. And if you need help planning anything, as an intern, I offer consultant services. So I can easily help you, sit down with you and plan any events that you want to do, whether it be this semester or the fall semester. And I can also help you into putting them into Phoenix Connect. So please reach out to me via email if you need any help or services whatsoever. And this is what the calendar will look like in a fall packet. And if you have time yourself, you should get together with a Zoom session with other leaders in your organization and sit down and actually talk about what ideas you want to start getting down on paper or anything that you're looking forward to in the fall, regardless of whether we be here or not, because we can work around that. And we're also going to talk about that, having a contingency plan later on in the presentation.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
And now thinking a little bit about, the SMART goals and thinking about how are we actually, once we have thought about the internal and external influences and thought about the planning process, how are we actually creating goals to achieve either those events, meetings, or bigger, things related to the mission and vision of our organization? How are we actually setting up those goals? So thinking about the big goals and setting up smaller goals that lead into it, thinking about prioritizing, what do you have to do first versus what do you have to do last, thinking about how are you making them SMART, how are you making them specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. How are you going to be able to achieve them? And we have some guides here for you to be able to think about, what does that mean to make them SMART? So are you able to answer the what, why, and how in that goal? When you're actually writing out your goal, can you answer those 3 questions? Can success be measured? What does that look like? When you're creating a goal, are you able to measure what that success looks like? Are you using verbs to clarify the tasks? So are you making sure that it is actually a task that can be done? Are you making it feasible and related to your mission? So are you able to do it? And also, is it related to your organization? You should really try and make sure that the goals that you're creating for yourself are related to what you're supposed to be doing as an organization. And then also give yourself deadlines. Make sure that you know that there is a time frame or a timeline of when goals should be completed so that they can lead up to bigger goals for your organization.
Exactly. Now, as far as transitioning planning, when you're having new officers coming into the role and you're having your old officers leave, it's a very important process because you're basically handling your organization or one aspect of your organization to another individual and entrusting all your hard work and dedication that you have accomplished into that individual. So in order to make this a smooth process, I think it's very important, especially in step 1, that you reach out to any individual who you may think would be a good prospect for your leadership role that you're in, or even try to get people to take a leadership role. And I think that's very important. That's how you keep people engaged in your organization and so that they're not burned out. Is if you're trying to get people into leadership organization roles, 5 times out of 10, if anything, eight times out of 10, they're going to want to stay with that organization because they're going to be committed. Now, as far as identifying key info, make sure that you're passing the mandatory knowledge and information that that new officer needs to be successful in that role, whether it be any binders, any budget forms, any organization calendar list. You want to make sure that you're communicating that info with them and that individual to make sure that they're having an easy process of grasping everything that they need to do in that new officer role. And when you leave, there's going to be times where that new person is still going to reach out to you and ask you questions. You should always be available as a resource because it's going to be difficult for them grasping everything all at once as they're newly entering the role. And as far as understanding that role and also being able to take care of any individuals in their organization that's under them. They're doing a lot at once. So it's very imperative and important that you are with them side by side and making sure that you're coaching them through it and that you're motivating them and that you're making sure that they're doing everything that they can that's for the best of that organization and that you feel comfortable leaving everything in their hands when you leave.
Thank you.
And if you have any questions about transition of leadership roles, please email me or Alonzo or whatnot. We could definitely help you with that. We'd be willing to sit down and talk to you about any situation or difficulties that you may think you have.
And then last but not least, we have to think about contingency plan. So what does this look like during either socially distant or remote, like a socially distant or remote semester? We have no clue what's in store for us when we get back in the fall. So we really have to think about what that plan B looks like, and how do you translate, these plans that we're going to be making to an online or socially distant semester, and what does it look like? I know that when we were talking on Friday, a lot of it was like, you have to be okay with you have to be okay with not knowing all the answers. I know that Robert and I have been talking about, you have to be okay with this so that, you're thinking about what could be, but also thinking about how else you can be succeeding as an organization.
Yeah.
Talked a lot about, creating other opportunities for success and making sure that it's not just one measure of success that you're looking at. How are you able to actually translate these plans or these events to an online platform? Mm-hmm. How are you staying connected to people? I don't know if you had anything else to add, Robert.
Well, yeah, everything you said was great. And going along with that, being a great leader is being able to look in advance and to tell what can go wrong and making a plan for it. And I think you mentioned that earlier. You told me that, and I learned that from you. And I've learned that throughout all my life. It's just you always need to have a backup plan just in case your main plan doesn't go the way you want to. And that's what being a good planner and being a good leader is making a contingency plan for the things that could possibly go wrong, even though we don't hope they go wrong, but just to make sure that we have that insurance, because that's very important. And it can help you get out that dire situation a lot faster and a lot quicker than you not having a plan at all. So it's very important, in my opinion, to have a contingency plan.
Yeah, and we even had someone on Friday talking about, what is plan B and C, because, you have to create a plan for if everyone's together in person. You have to create a plan for if we have to be socially distant. And then you also have to create a plan if we're all online. So you have to think about all the different possibilities. Life has sort of been throwing curveballs at us. In this moment, we sort of have to roll with the punches. We have to figure out different ways to actually succeed in the different circumstances that life is throwing at us.
Exactly. Very well spoken.
So we want to thank you all for attending or for watching this video. We're sorry that you couldn't make it for all the discussions that we were having last week, but we hope that this information is going to be beneficial for you when you think about planning in the future. As Robert said beforehand, we will be sending this with packets of information that should help prompt some of these activities and also thinking about planning in the future and give you some questions to make you think about how we can actually be successful moving forward. I don't know if you had anything to finish off the workshop.
Thank you just for watching and thank you for being here. And please reach out to us if you need any help, any consulting services whatsoever. We're here to help you. We're here to help maintain your organization and stay afloat during these troubled times. So thank you, and please reach out to us.
Yeah, thank you.